Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Answer is Yes podcast, where we will explore the cause and effect of just saying yes in your everyday life or in business. I will dig into topics that are not just stimulating, but will challenge you to be better in everything you do. The podcast is based on the simplicity of saying yes to opportunities you might encounter every single day. I'm your host, Jim Riley. Join me in my first series titled Blue Collar Redefined. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Answer is Yes podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We always appreciate you listening to the show. You know, I got to tell you, I really appreciate also when I run into people, and maybe they're friends, close friends, or acquaintances, doesn't really matter. And somewhere in the conversation, they say, "Hey, really enjoy the podcast." It means so much to me, and it always surprises me who's listening. Oftentimes, you know, you're in the studio, you're talking to yourself, and hopefully you're putting some good content out there. Of course, I've got the interview, but you just don't know. Is anybody actually listening? I get to see the downloads and the data, and they are increasing every week for the show, and I'm thrilled for that. And I know we've got a lot of downloads. We're creeping up on 10,000 here. Should be within the next couple of weeks that we'll hit that magic number. And I just, I want to thank you all very much. And, this started with a vision of wanting to do something for a marketing reason. And after my first interview, I realized that this would be a new passion of mine, and I'm following it. And hopefully, again, those are footsteps that you can trace along and find something that you're passionate about. And I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this and sharing my stories and other people's stories with you. One of the things I do talk about sometimes is my Spartan racing. It's 2019. We're off to a new season. I just had an incredible weekend out in Chino. It was the first Spartan race of the season. Watching all the other racers' Instagram posts and social media talking about, can't wait to get to Chino. I was equally excited. I've had a great 2018 of racing, a lot of podiums, and this weekend was no exception. I felt like I was trained up. But if you don't know your physical fitness as a rule, people typically lose a lot of their strength and endurance over the holidays. It's just a natural effect, whether you're continuing to train. It's kind of a psychological thing. So I was really concerned that I was kind of slow going into this race. And my trainer said, "Don't worry, everybody's going to be in the same spot." Psychologically, it's the time of year where we all kind of are down on our pace. And I went into it thinking I'm going to give it my best. On Saturday, I raced in my age group. It is 50 and over, Spartan competitive, and I wound up pulling a third-place podium finish, which I was thrilled to get. The competition is fierce. Edward Korat, who is a competitor out there, we battled back and forth on the course, and eventually he just got the best of me. He wound up getting second, and then a new guy showed up, Wade Cook, who was a 49-year-old in our age group. He wound up pulling a first place. So it was very competitive, had a great time. It's always nice to be on the podium. I did go out by myself on Saturday because the whole family was running on Sunday. So we raced again Sunday, and my wife, Samantha, she wound up doing very well. She was second in females. Over 1,500 females entered the open class, which she did, and she was second overall with an incredible time. So I'm so proud of her. And then both of my daughters ran in their little kids Spartan race. And my daughter Reagan, it was her first one. She is just over 3 years old. And my other daughter, Darylyn, who's 5. They had a great time. If you've got kids, this is an incredible sport to take the kids out and do something as a family. I know we stayed busy all morning doing our individual events and enjoying some lunch out there and watching everything go by. I had a great race. Both great and not so great. Coming off of a podium on Saturday, I wanted to give it my best on Sunday. I got past the third obstacle, which was a 6-foot wall that I jumped off and wound up twisting my knee so bad it took me down to the ground. I rolled off the course and laid there for a second as I watched guys go by me. I thought, there's no way I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get up and see what I can do. And I wound up limping through the pain and then kind of building up some speed and then realizing if I ran forward, I was good. If I tried to get any side motion out of my right knee, it wasn't good. So I just ran forward and wound up pulling ahead of the crew that I had to chase back down and ran in first place for quite a long distance, maybe a mile and a half. I passed Edward, who had beat me the day before. I thought, okay, well, there's one more guy in front of him. And as it turns out, Wade had already dropped out or dropped way behind. So I was kind of chasing a ghost out there. Eventually, my knee got the best of me, and Edward passed me, but we finished first and second. So great job to Ed. And then I pulled a second. Looks like I'm going to be rehabbing my knee here for the next month. So if you hear me complaining about it on the show, that's why. The nature of the beast. But I think more importantly, I took the advice of Phil Downs, who was on our show earlier or late last year. And his motto was, do it aggressively as possible. And that's certainly how I raced this last weekend. I love Phil for that quote. He also gave us another one, which was have a bias for action. So, Phil, if you're listening, thanks for that. And we're going to continue on. We've got more Spartan races up in the future. If you want to go race, let me know. I've met several people out there that heard the show and heard what I was doing. And then there is some Spartan racers that listen to the show. So love to get together with you. It's a great group of people. So this week's show, we've got a great guest. We're kind of moving more into some business models and how to make money and what some of your options are here the next few weeks. And this week is no exception to that. So I'm really excited about this phone call to our next guest. Her name is Brianna. And I've been following along her story on Instagram and her social media posts. So she got me fired up. I knew before the show I was going to have to at least have a couple cups of coffee because she's high energy. And I think you're going to get a lot out of this show. So without further ado, let's get her on the line and see what she's got to talk about today. Hello and welcome to this week's show. We've got another great guest, as I just talked about in the intro here. I've got Brianna Rooney on the phone. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks, Jim.
I know that you're full of energy. I see it through all your social media and your websites and the brief moment we talked. You're full of energy, so I had to up my game this morning so I could talk to you.
Good. Are you a coffee drinker or what's
I'm a coffee addict now. I don't know what it is.
You know, I've never had a sip.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I would be scared as to what would happen. I don't drink soda. I don't do that.
Wow. So
yeah, caffeine is crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, good for you. Don't start if you haven't. You know, they say there's some health benefits to it, but yeah, I'm totally hooked on coffee. So what is your morning routine? How do you start your day to get into that mindset of doing what you do?
I am a giant believer in exercise.
Okay.
I think that is it's a huge part of my life. I do Orange Theory. It's like rower and tread and it's weight room and stuff like that. And I go 5:30 in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
4 days a week. That's normally how my day starts. I feel amazing, and it's quite addictive. I had never had anxiety in my life until I was like 6 months pregnant with my son.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, what is this feeling? And so not only was I active then, but now it's just so important for me now to just kind of like, it's almost like calms me out. It's like I have this little Energizer bunny inside me that is like running at an incredible speed that will start like almost ping ponging in my body. You know, it's like, you know, I'm like, I need to do something. And yeah, so that's what I do. That sets me up for success. If I'm not there, my kids wake up at 5 anyways. So
yeah.
They keep me going. And I think that that's just a different way of life for me now. And I am extremely more efficient since I've had kids. So I'm happy for that.
You know, I don't want to get too far off of the topic today, but you mentioned the anxiety once you were pregnant. You know, my wife has gone through the same thing. We've got 2 little ones at home. I know you've got kids. You know, she was developed anxiety that she was unaware of, and we got her into the gym, and it's really curbed that a lot. And it's so. You know, I don't know if a lot of women think about that or they associate the two, you know, the pregnancy, the after, the kids, and developing anxiety in the process, that exercise is a great way to combat that, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just spent 2 weeks in Tahoe for the holidays. My family lives there. And, you know, I don't have my normal routine, my gym and stuff like that. And we were sledding one day, and my brother, who can very easily get on my nerves, he like said something. I was like, rah, you know, like just wanted to attack him. And he goes, whoa. I'm like, I'm sorry. I have to go to the gym.
Excuse me.
And that's real. You know?
Yeah.
It's, it's like a thing. I don't know. Who knows? But it helps. Like big time.
Well, the process that a female goes through as they come into motherhood and all those things, it's amazing to me. It's a spectacular part of life, but there's also consequences with that. I mean, I know a lot of females worry about their weight gain and this and that, but anxiety's, that's a big thing out there. And I think if you can learn how to combat that and get your body back into tune with what it needs. I'm a huge proponent of we're exercising and combating anxiety that way. Sometimes you have to go into the medication too, but start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You got to start somewhere. So that helps me. And that, I think that sets up my day just for success in general, with work, I'm technically in sales, right? So it's like bounce, bounce, bounce. You have to do this, you have to do that. And it just kind of focuses you a little bit more when you're running a little higher,
Yeah. Now, do you coincide that with the diet or any like meditation practices or anything?
That's a good question. So the diet, I am trying to get under control. I love to eat.
Okay. I think we all do.
I very much enjoy that. Well, I very much enjoy it. Like it's like a thing. But I have this thing with dessert. And so especially over the holidays, it gets you even more extreme where it's just like you're just addicted to it at that point. It's like I have it for 3 days in a row and bam, I'm addicted. And I have a 5-year-old. So he has developed that as well. I mean, like any kid, right? Any kid wants sweets. And so I just said, I'm literally on day 3 of no dessert because it just becomes like, even if it's just small, it's like I just have to cut the habit. So yeah, I am trying that.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to eat slower this year because that's not good. And I see that my son eats really fast. And through kids, you can see all your bad habits and all your good habits. So that I'm trying to do. As far as meditation goes, I do have like a motto I say in my mind at all times, and especially when I'm going through something that's a little difficult, whether it's, I'm going through some exercise that's really hard for me to do, if I have to have a call that I'm kind of nervous about and stuff. It just kind of like, I don't know, it just has me refocus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely do that. I'm a big believer in mental health as well.
Do you get to share the motto with us, or is that a secret?
Oh, yeah, sure. My motto is, I will be rich, filthy rich. And I say that over and over. I will be rich, filthy rich, over and over and over again.
Okay.
And that somehow, like, I don't even remember how I came up with it, but it's like I just needed some motto. I watched some Warren Buffett thing about goals and how you need to like focus all of that and how you think of 20 things, but you should only do 5 at a time. And I have this Post-it, on my computer that I have those 5 goals. And then as, you complete them, you cross one out, you add another one. And so he was just kind of talking about, your just mind over matter, I think in general. And then I really decided to put that to the test last year. And I did the LA Marathon without training.
Great. Wow. That's impressive.
Because I'm crazy. I don't even like running. In fact, I despise running. And I've never ran more than a mile before in my life. And I just really wanted to put mind over matter to test. And I was thinking, what is the one thing that no one in a trillion years would think I would do?
Yeah.
And I picked that because I don't ever go small.
So you ran a marathon, mind over matter.
Mind over matter. And literally I said that, my little phrase I had come up with, because it's only been like a couple years I came up with it. And I said it like throughout the entire thing. And I did it. And I don't know. It just, trust me, it wasn't easy, but I did it, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, I got a lot of competitive people on this show. What do you remember what your time was?
Oh, yeah, it was awful. It was like 5:40 or something like that.
That is not awful.
It's long. They only give you 6.5 hours.
Yeah, but
so
still.
I was kind of close. Yeah. I mean, not training, I'm fine with that. I was just fine with finishing. I wasn't even concentrating on time. And I actually did break down at mile 18, which I think is super common. So
it's very common.
That I will have to look out for, because my husband decided to sign us up again.
Oh.
So I'm doing it again on
man.
March 24th, which I am not excited about. But I need to trick myself to being excited about it because I need to finish it again.
Yeah. Well,
so,
you've done it once, mind over matter. You could do a little training leading up to it this time. Might feel better.
Oh, I know, but I just don't want to. I don't like to run.